I think I'm about level. I've just stopped myself from being a little bit of a fussy a-hole. It's taken me about 10 minutes to set it up, to get the lighting right and the background right, and I'm like, just stop it, you arsehole, and get on with it. So the kids are in bed, the wife's out, let's talk watches. Right guys, it is Wednesday evening and a few of you commented on a previous video of my horrendous shirt. I thought I looked pretty smart, but in honour of you complainers, I've gone out and got myself a really dashing number, and on top of that I've gone all 80s style. Look at that, beautiful. So this is a Loris quartz. Probably wouldn't even be classed as a ladies watch now, it'd be classed as a kid's watch. It's so dainty. But it's just something a little bit different. Ugh. So yeah, bit of fun. I think it's from the 80s. I don't know where it's come from. I think my dad gave it to me one day. But yeah, I thought I'd go all out in the cheesy shirt, cheesy watch, good to go. This is actually the, I've got two gold watches in the house at the moment. Obviously this is the bad boy. But Jonesy, yeah, that's it. Oh. Is anyone else just a little bit moist? It's stunning, isn't it? Just stunning. So yeah, the video's just gone out yesterday, I think it was. Oh wow, what an experience that was. So top man Jonesy, he did ruin my day and he took the jam out of my donut though, because today is all about my poxy little Rolex. Yeah, that's right. When I go to buy a Rolex, Jonesy, the selfish sod, sends me a £24,000 solid Rolex. So, yeah, it certainly took the jam out my donut. But I'll tell you one thing about that Jonesy. He's the kind of guy that if you were both at a swimming pool and you were just getting changed, you'd be, you know, drying yourself off with your little towel, and he'd whap his big towel out and just say, look how big my towel is and look how quick I can dry myself. You know what I mean? He's just flash kitting it. Look at that though, top man Jonesy, love you really. So today is all about my brand new Rolex. I love this watch, but just to give you a little clue of what it is. Ugh, that stuff is disgusting by the way, but I have bought a Marmite Rolex. So what do you think it is? Come on guys, there's only one real Marmite watch. Da, 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 da. Yeah, you guessed it, the Rolex Air King. So let's get into an unboxing. Well, we've unboxed it, let's have a closer look. Right, this way. Right guys, here we are with the Rolex Datejust. I'm just going to show you this quickly and lift the camera up. That is what an Air King used to look like back in the day, and that is what it looks like now. So it is literally a 2016 model, but it was designed in the 1940s for, what did it say, pilots, British pilots, that were it. And to top it all off, it nearly got called the Air Tiger, the Air Lion, or the Air Giant. So they're pretty crap names, aren't they? So the Air King is a pretty cool name, but there's very little that remains of the previous Air King apart from the little bit of font on the front. So let's get into the unboxing initially. There's my price tag. Pathetic, isn't it? Mere peanuts. £5,150. Pauper Andrew to the rescue after Jonesy's watch. And the Air King is actually, yes, it's steeped in history from what it is before, but it's everything that's good about modern Rolex. So you get the booklet, whoopee-doo, and you get a instruction guide, service, whoopee-doo, crappy leather plastic thing. But that's pretty cool. This is the new style Rolex warranty card. Let me just check I'm not going to make any thingies there. So you get the date there and you get a modern card. So not much different. And as I say, you never really have a look at them. You get the swing tag. Seems to be a big deal. But again, I might hang that up somewhere. See if the wife will let me. Very delicate. And I am not got big wrists, but I've only taken one link out. What do guys do with big fat sausage wrists? You know, you see some blokes at the size of a house. How the hell do they have to buy extra links? If anyone knows, I would like you to tell me. So let's get on with this beautiful thing. that out of there and look at that. Now that is nice. Yes, the dial, we'll get some close-ups of the dial afterwards because that is what makes it Marmite. But what makes this a great Rolex is the case. It's the same, exactly the same as a Milgauss, but it's not polished. And sorry, yeah, it's not polished, that's right, this is brushed. The case is really sturdy. If you ever have the opportunity to pick one of these watches up, you might think, what the hell is that dial? But actually, once you've picked it up, once you've felt it, you just think, oh yeah, it goes. So the good thing is this clasp is almost entry level. I get that because it's not got any crown there, it's just got a stamped crown. So not the end of the world. And it's easy, quick release there, and you do get that little spring bar security lock there, which is pretty cool. And what's really, really impressive, and you don't get on the Oyster Perpetual 39, is you get the 5mm easy link adjustment, and that, honestly, that little bit of micro adjustment for hot days, cold days makes all the difference. I think it's got about a 48-hour power reserve, so not great, but when it's a sports Rolex, yeah, I'll let it off. I'll let that one slide. So the thing that miffs everyone off with this is it says 5, 10, 3, 20, 25, 6. They could have made them white gold and turned that into 15 and 30. That maybe have worked better. I think if they made them loomed as well, I think that could have made it better. But overall, it's just, the dial is a bit bizarre. It put me off the first time I had my Rolex Air King. But try this bad boy on. Wear it, feel it, try it, and then you understand it's absolutely fantastic. And that's, if you're ever looking at someone from across the room, we all do it. Don't get creeped out, don't get embarrassed, guys. We look at other men's wrists and get a little bit wow. So that's what you see. I see a Rolex, and everyone else who knows Rolex will see that that's a Rolex. You never actually get to see the dial on a watch when you're looking at someone else's watch close up, do you? It's only when you get really close up and hands on that you can appreciate or not appreciate the dial. So look at this, we've even got some stickers, yes! So I've got a little bit of a watch wisdom as well to tell you about waiting lists and ADs after this, because I was a little bit miffed with how it went with this purchase, but you know, I've got it and I'm happy. It's just an insight that I would see, I wouldn't call it a complaint. And then look at that, the main sticker on the back. Oh, drum roll please. I said drum roll. Can't even get the angle right, what an idiot. Oh, that's it, gotta keep it now, it's done. So that is the Rolex Air King, guys. That green hand I think is stunning, really is a Rolex green, and a little bit of yellow on the crown. And then the Rolex writing as well. I just think that's really everything about Rolex. If you go to Wimbledon or the F1 Championships, you see that Rolex green and that crown everywhere you go. So it's almost more symbolic than just the standard crown in many ways. One thing that does let it down, which I know I always complain about, but it's the lack of loom. Look at that. All you get is the 12 o'clock pip, the two hands and a little dot. So that is not very impressive, is it? It is great loom, but still. But I'm not going to let it fuss me. I don't actually ever use loom, but this is just a stunning watch. Oh no, is that a mark or is that a fingerprint? And what I noticed about this is when I complain about the Datejust all the time with fingerprints on here, you don't notice it on here, but it is highlighted on the mirror finish bezel area more than also. So whenever I see marks on the bezel or on the side, it's just that polished. I just got to learn to live with it. I had Workington watches up last night. And if you think my Datejust has got scratches on it, geez, you should see his Submariner. It is worn, it is battered, and you know what? It's never looked better. Fantastic watch. So this is the Rolex Air King. Let's flick back and we'll finish the video. Thank you, Jeeves. So a little bit of channel news, if you can call it that. That's going to Yank the Mic in America. He wanted that, he won the competition, and that'll be sitting proudly in the United States. I'll be posting that on Friday when I post Dress Wash Jones's watch back to him. And on that, have a look at his account. He has got some fantastic watches, and I'm looking at you now, Jonesy. I know you've got a couple of Pateks up there, mate. Get them down to Huddersfield. Let's have a proper gander at them and we'll have a proper review. So yeah, that's the Rolex Air King. Fantastic watch. I know I said about the Pelagos as well, but I really would recommend trying it, feeling it, where's it gone, touching it, and just try and experience it firsthand. And if you can get past that dial and all the fives and the weird colours, what a watch. It's really, really could be an all-time classic. And they talk about it when it gets discontinued because it's not a popular watch, that, you know, the price will go sky high, but I don't think that'll happen. I think I made a small loss on the Air King a couple of years ago when I last had it. But that's just the nature of being a watch addict, isn't it? You know, you have to sell to move on. So yeah, I love the chase. I love buying watches, and if I need a new, well, I never need a watch. You don't need a watch, do you? But if I want a new watch, I do always have to sell a watch, and that's one of the good things, that you can keep flipping and trading and trading. I really enjoy that. And one of the things that was, I'll tell you about the AD first. So two things. There's a little bit of watch wisdom at the end. And the first thing about the ADs are, I emailed a certain place about the Air King, and they came back, and I did it via the online bit, and I said, look, I've got prior purchase history, blah, blah, blah. And I thought they'd look into my history and then they'd, you know, return a favour sort of thing. And they told me 3 to 6 months last week for that Air King. And I'm like, it's an Air King. Last time I bought one a couple of years ago, I just walked in the shop and bought it. So I sent an email back saying, I don't expect you to remember me. There's a lot of people that buy Rolex throughout the year, but I actually did buy 2 Rolex from you directly, personally. The guy on the other end of the email, you know, at least try and do something for me. And what a surprise when they did actually look into my history, and, you know, one turned up within a week. So ADs and the lists, keep pestering them, keep asking them. There is some good ADs out there. My mate Les, top man. But yeah, just keep having a go at them, keep talking to them, keep in contact with them, because I'm still on a list for a Rolex Submariner from 2016. And I'll tell you a horror story about that place as well. Yeah, not for today though. And my little bit of watch wisdom, just have a look at this photo.
Taking the good with the ups and downs. I wanna see how the world turns.
That's right, that was my first Air King, and it was all bent in, and because I put it on a social media webpage, oh, what's this? And all the experts were coming out, Rolex tolerances are so tight. Don't worry about it, that's what happens because the Rolex tolerances are so tight. And I'm like, that is ridiculous. You would never go and buy a Mercedes Benz and open the door and the door's stiff. You're like, what's wrong with the door? And you take it back to the garage and they go, oh, it's just Mercedes tolerances. They make the doors so tight that, you know, once you've opened it 1,000 times, it'll be all right. Don't worry about it, mate. Go on, drive your car. You'd be like, fix the door. So when I had that Air King and it were all wonky like that, I had to unscrew the links. I had to soak the bars in a little bit of oil, literally just dip them in and put them back in and then loosen it all up myself. And I'm like, you don't buy luxury watches for that, do you? But because it's Rolex, because I like it, I'll let them off. But yeah, Rolex tolerances, my arse. Right guys, over and out. I'll see you in the next one.
You're the only